Hello everyone, welcome to Bargain Gaming, where we can play excellent games without busting our wallets. In this episode, let's talk about castle economics, because it is very important for us to understand how the economy is affected based on our actions or inactions. In this case, in this game, there are two types of castles. There is the castle town, which means I call them merchant castles, or I should castle towns, because there's a merchant class involved. There are other people in there. There are people who buy items, sell items, goods, armories, horses, and armor and weapons. So they are castle town, and they have a tavern, and so there, and you can invest in a business in it. So in this case, so those are castle towns, and then there are just simple castles. So the difference between castle towns, aside from having other businesses, aside from having businesses, armories, horses, goods, taverns, they also have more villages tied to them. In this case, like Shariz is turning out to be the richest castle town available, simply because Shariz, when we took over Shariz, we will see from the different colors, our faction, the Serenity faction, is red colored. So all the towns, or not, all the villages that are tied to Shariz is also colored red. So in this case, when we look at Shariz, when we took it over, we also automatically took over Ain Aswadi, Rusdig, Qualyut, Dibane, and Tilimsal. So these 5 villages automatically deliver all their goods to Shariz. So they deliver the goods inside, and Shariz gives us, when we look at the reports on the budget, we look at Shariz. Shariz is down here. We see rents from Shariz and then tariffs from Shariz. The rents from Shariz are primarily, I think, a part of the income of businesses done in Shariz, meaning the tavern, the armory, the arsenal. Armory is the armor, and then weapons, horses, all these, and goods. So if we go to the town and we trade more stuff with it, or the caravans trade more with it, I think the rents are pretty stable because they're coming in from businesses operating there. We also have a business in Shariz. So in this case, so the rents come from the tenants. The big thing in a castle town is the tariffs from Shariz. So the more caravans that go through, that means it will improve the amount of tariffs involved we collect from that castle town. At the same time, also we collect tariffs from villages coming in to trade their goods with the castle town. So caravans coming in, villages coming in. Now the security of the area surrounding Shariz. Okay, let's go back to Shariz. So if we are not at war, and our enemies are not plundering our villages, then we get a constant income from the villages. If we own, so right now we just own Shariz, right? We don't own any of the villages. If we own the villages, we will see that there's also a direct income from the village, and then there's a direct income from Shariz. So if we own, let's say in this case, Ain Aswadi and Shariz, we will own the income from both Ain. We will see like rents from Ain Aswadi and then rents from Shariz. So Ain Aswadi will be an independent source of income. So all the villages will represent different independent sources of income. Although they are linked to Shariz, they themselves will produce sources of income. But if they're looted or pillaged by enemies, then there is no income for that week. And then so they'll say they have been raided, and then I think it lasts for another week, and then it will reflect a looted uh, a looted position. So raided and then looted position. So both of those, that means will definitely on the first week we'll get no, within that week we get no income from it. And I think if it is towards the end of the week, it will carry over to the next week, and the town will show a looted situation or condition looted. So we're not going to get income from that one. Now, a village usually produce close to about, at the minimum about 200 to 300. And then if it's a prosperous, if they had not been looted for a long time, maybe for like 4 or 5, no, I would say about 4 or 5 weeks in a row, the income slowly goes up every week from 300 to 400, up to about close to about 800. So owning a village is not bad, provided it is not looted. So the village can be looted from two sources, primarily from our enemies, and secondarily from bandits in the area, because sometimes we have come across a village where the bandits are actually looting the village and they ask us to help them out. So those are the conditions that affect the prosperity of the villages. And then the condition of the villages also affects the prosperity of Sheriz. So it's very important to keep the area within, let's say in this case, in this is our dominion. So the lesser bandits, if we don't go to war, that's the most important thing. That is the best thing for our village if we don't go to war. But even in peacetime, however, we still have the problem of bandits or thieves, or in this case, like in Amarad has this desert bandit lair. So there's a lot of bandits around, and they disrupt the flow of caravans to Amarad. So Amarad number 2 has... Okay, before we go to Amarad, let's... So we're still talking about villages. So Sheriz has 5 villages directly tied to it. And it is also within, within the geographical control of these 2 castles, Weya Castle and Karaf Castle. So these are castles, so they don't have businesses, they don't have investments, they don't have anything in it. They just make money based on the condition of their attached village. This village is attached directly to Karaf Castle, so the condition of this village will affect the income of the castle. In theory, some portion of Mitnun's, this village Mitnun's income goes to Karaf because they supply the castle, and then Mitnun also trades with Sheriz because it does not trade with Karaf because Karaf doesn't have any businesses in it, just supports the castle. So with Mitnun not being looted or being harassed by bandits, the income of Karaf Castle will go up together with the income of Mitnun. So the longer it's not get looted or banditry or whatever, the more peaceful it is, the income of Mitnun and Karaf Castle will build up over time. So if we were to own Mitnun and Karaf Castle, we will see that. So right now in this gameplay, I know the merchant town actually pays a lot more, so I am not holding on to villages or castles. So castles are the lowest income provider would be a village, and then the second higher level income producer will be the castle, but the castle is dependent on its village. And then the highest performing income producer would be a castle town. So in this case, because Karaf Castle and Weya Castle belong to this, I would say like a province of, or this regional or this county of Sheriz, the villages, even if they are not under the control of Sheriz, they still deal or trade with Sheriz because that's where the businesses are. So Hawaha village and Mitnun has to do business with Shariz. So in essence, Shariz has dominion over 7 villages, and that's why it makes Shariz is, I think, the richest castle town or merchant town in this game. So Amarad controls only 3 direct villages in this case. However, there is this Durin Castle and what's this other castle? Samara Castle. They have also their own village. So in essence, there are 5 villages that are contributing to Amarad. And then here, Durcuba has 1, 2, and 3. Because these 2 castles, this castle which controls this village, and this castle which controls this village, so these 2 villages and the 2 villages are controlled under the purview of Barrier. So in effect, it has 4 villages doing business with Barrier, and that's why among all the castles here, Barrier is the poorest. It doesn't produce as much income. Durcuba has the same situation. I think it has Durcuba has Tamnu, Sectum, and Mijayet. No, not Mijayet. Tamnu. Oh, only 2 also. So Durcuba is not. So Durcuba is very similar to Barrier. Anyway, the important thing about the difference between, aside from the number of villages under its control, in Amarad, there is almost always a desert bandit lair within this area. One will spawn. If we clear it out, the bandits in the area will go down. The number of bandits in the area will be reduced, and that means a lot more of the caravans will make their way to Amarad, and it will improve the prosperity of Amarad. Here in Shariz, in my first playthrough and in this current playthrough, I have never seen a bandit lair ever appearing. So that's another reason why Shariz is doing is the best town there is. So I would say another town, merchant town, I would love to have is Dirim. Dirim has automatically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has also 5 villages that is tied to it, and then it has 2 castles. One, Derchon and its village, and this one, Senuzga and this village tied to it. So it also has 7 villages tied to it. And however, this is the central region, so the problem is that whoever controls this usually has to, like currently is under siege. It used to be owned by the Swadians, and then the Vagars took it from them, and then the Vagars took it from, and the Sultanate took it from the Vagars. Now I think who are the Sultanate fighting against? I think they're fighting against the Kyrgyz Khanate. Oh, it's at war with the Vagars. So the Vagars are planning to take it back. So again, that's why it's a very much disputed a merchant town, or very much desired and also very much disputed. So I guess that is about. Oh, the other thing then is, the question is, why don't I take more ownership of all of these villages, since I control them, right? Right now I control all of them. I can give them all to myself. The thing is with this game is that if we own anything more than 3, it doesn't matter whether it's merchant town, castle, or village. If we own 3 sources of income, not businesses, but 3 land holdings that produce income, we're fine, But if we own 4 or more, there is a tax collection deficiency cost, meaning because our holdings are so big, we suffer, I believe, a 3% loss on the overall gross collection value. So that can become very, very big. So because if we are at 4, we take a 3% loss of total gross. So we're talking about here, when we look at the weekly budget, so right now we're making a net of 3,000, but that is taking out 2,000, 3,000, 8,000. So we're talking about a gross of about wait, 2, 3, 4, 8. So we're talking about 12,000 gross. So that is what is taken off. Right now we are not showing any deficiency loss. So 3,000, 3% of 12,000, maybe about what, 360 or something. That's almost close to the amount of income produced by a small village. So if we pick all of these up, then the next one will be 3% plus 3%, that becomes 6%. So if we took all of the 5, we're taking a hit of 15% loss. So every 3% going up is represents a massive, because it adds up. This is cumulative. This is not. This is so we're talking a 15% loss of 12,000, and 10% would be 1,200. 15%. We're talking about 18, almost 2,000 losses. So that is not worth doing. So, and that's the reason why in this game the most I will have is four sources of land holdings income, because that's when we take the first 3% penalty. Maybe I might keep it 5, maybe, and we still 5 if we have like dirham. If all of them are, I will let go of Wordcheg. I will let go of Amarad. If we can take like Shariz, dirham, I think Veluca is also the same thing. Veluca has about 4. So anyway, about 4 about 4, maximum 5, and then beyond that, the deficiency in tax collection is so massive. It works against us. It doesn't improve. It just actually, our net income reduces. Anyway, okay, this special, I think that covers about castle towns and castles and economics of land holdings. And so we're not playing anything. So I guess, I hope that covers everything. And then I hope to see you in the game in the next episode. Bye.